Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to do the character review for Tokoyami Towa. We're going to go over the usual points, so I'm going to talk about how good this unit is, we're going to look at the skills, revolution, execution, gear, ignition weapon, rapport, and finally some team recommendations. And yeah, for the first point, how good is Towa? I think you guys all already know that she's an absolute monster. If you watched my tier list video and all my previous videos, you definitely already know. So yeah, I highly recommend going for this unit because otherwise you would have lost her forever, basically. You definitely have to get her as high as you can. It's better if you can get her to Rainbow 5. If you cannot, but you can get her to like Rainbow 1, 2, or whatever, it is still okay because they should remove the 70,000 point requirement for the breakstone. They will probably lower it to like 50,000 or something. So over the course of some events, if you decide to spend Suspendium, you can eventually max her out. It's going to take a long time, but it's achievable. So it's not the end of the world if you don't max her out, but I recommend you guys to do that, like max her out. Is really too valuable to miss out on. There is to consider one additional thing, and that is now we have more or less 6 units of every single element. Sorry, 6 SSR plus units of every single element, except for, well, purple, but they fucking hate purple for some reason. And yeah, they are going to release support for every single element again very soon. Probably Towa counts as one for yellow, so you would be missing out on the support if you don't go for her. But in terms of like replaceability in normal adventure or hard mode adventure, it shouldn't be too big of a deal because now we will probably get some nice replacement in the following months. Like probably Xia could be potentially one. I'm not so sure they can pull it off, but could be. She's going to be a red support. And we'll see if also Rachel is going to end up as a support, because Icarus, if I remember correctly, was like a healer or some sorts. But whatever, doesn't really matter. So if you miss her out, it's probably not the end of the world, but I'd rather not miss this unit. It's just too good. So yeah, what else can I say? She's going to provide insane survivability only at Revolution 5 for this part, but it is still fine, I would say. Below Revolution 5, she still provides a lot of swiftness for the whole team, which is amazing, and a lot of buffs for your attack scaling units. She can really increase the damage output of attack scaling units by a ton, so for that part, still really valuable. But you definitely don't want to miss out on that. Revolution 5 is so insane. And yeah, that's enough for the first point. I would say, guys, let's move on and have a quick look at the skills. We start with the passive, which is fairly simple. She gains a skill attack block once every 4 seconds if she uses it. I mean, if she blocks a skill, then she has a 4-second cooldown before she gains another skill block. Pretty good, really helpful, especially if you want to block, let's say, a Blarode hook. You can place her, she's going to dodge it thanks to the passive, so that's going to be pretty solid. It's a nice effect to have, I think. Then we have, when using skills, you grant special demonic power to all allies based on the skill that you used. The special move is going to give 25 swiftness for 10 seconds plus 5 from exclusive equipment with a maximum of 3 stacks, which is 75 swiftness to all allies. This is insane, guys. Really an insane buff. Then we have the one of the active skill that is going to increase the attack and defense of the whole team by 80% for 10 seconds, plus 5 from the exclusive equipment, so 15 seconds, with a max of 3 stacks. Revolution 4 is going to reduce the cooldown of this active skill by 10 or 15 seconds. I think 10, I don't remember. We're going to see in a second. And by doing that, you basically have a super high uptime on a 240% attack increase team-wide. This is an insane buff. Really great. And also the defense increase could come in handy if you're still in a deficit where like your tanks can survive. So overall, really good. Then we have the other active skill that is going to proc an healing effect. We don't really care too much about this one, but it is also going to get the duration increased by 5 seconds by the exclusive event. Really great passive. Not much to say, adds a lot of utility to the other skills. Now we go to the first active skill, the one that's tied to the healing that we just read, and this is going to paralyze enemies in an AoE, and then shock them for 10 seconds, decreasing their attack by 80%. This is a pretty good debuff to have, mostly because there are a lot of healers that are based off of attack. So if you decrease their attack, they're going to heal their allies less, which is going to be pretty beneficial. In terms of damage, even if you remove 80% of the attack of the enemies, if you are at a high deficit, they are still going to one-shot you. So that part is less relevant, but definitely OP for the healing reduction part, let's say. It's a bit indirect, not really 100% working, but definitely is nice to have. Then we have the other active skill. This one is going to deal another AoE attack, making enemies bleed for 10 seconds, and those enemies will also have their defense decreased by 80%. 80% defense decrease is a really good amount. It's not like a revolution bomb that could potentially decrease it by 240% on a single unit, but it is still 80%, which is pretty good, especially because it's AoE and it's super easy to apply with a pretty high uptime as well. Because as we saw and as I already mentioned, we have Revolution 4 that decreases the cooldown of this skill by 10 seconds. Really, really good overall. So I like that. So far the kit seems pretty good. Then we have the special move. This one is going to have a 5-second knockdown in a pretty massive AoE, and then it's going to decrease physical resistance and magic resistance of enemies hit by 40% for 10 seconds. Not the craziest of buffs, debuffs, but still decent. And then she's going to recover allies' HP based on damage dealt. This one is pretty shit, to be honest, but okay. It's fine for PvP, but not really an adventure. And then we have the Revolution 5 effect. This one is massive. 4-second invincibility on all allies when using the special move, and also removes all debuffs. Really insane, guys. This is massive. Great revolution effect. And yeah, not much else we can say here. The kit is pretty straightforward. Lots of supporting capabilities, lots of buffs, lots of damage over time if you need it for some bosses. And talking about bosses, she's definitely an amazing bossing unit. The attack increase on your carry, that is always an attack scaler for bosses, and to Albedo as well, is going to double down on the attack increase for your carry. She also has the defense decrease. Normally bosses have it capped, so you can already decrease it too much, but definitely nice addition. And also the 75 swiftness to the whole team is one of the best buffs that you can get. It's absolutely amazing, guys. This unit is a great bossing unit as well. So what can we say, guys? If I didn't convince you yet to pull for her, well, go ahead and pull for her. I mean, there's really not much convincing to do. She's just insane. Then we have, let's have a quick look at Revolution first. I mean, we already saw the main tiers, but I wanted to quickly mention the subnodes. We have effect resistance that is nice for when you don't have the special move up. You might get CC'd, and that would prevent you from casting the other special move. Depending on the setup, is not too needed. Still, it is cheap, it is nice, and I would say go for it. Then, unless you are in a situation like mine where I want to link her to Mamanak at times, in maybe teams where I have another unit that otherwise would have higher attack than her, even on a lower link, you do not need to go for attack. This one is legit only to link her to Mamanak in specific situations. Most of the times is not needed. She will have enough attack without it. So before upgrading it, look if the use case you're trying to use her in requires it. Otherwise, don't go for it. There is really no reason. Anything else, there is literally no reason to go for. I would say Potentially this one could be nice, but I mean, she already has uptime on everything regardless of this. I don't care about reducing the active skill cooldown. I think it would be more damaging in her case as well, because that would prevent her at times from casting the special move. So I'd rather not even try. And it's just save the resources. This is not going to the archive. So every resource you spend on a collab unit is only if you really need that. If you don't even bother. So I would say effect resistance is nice and the only one you could think about going for. Attack, if you really need it so that she can be linked with like Mamanak and other highest attack unit targeting. Otherwise, no. Like, there's literally no reason to go for any of this shit. And that's enough, okay? Pretty straightforward, self-explanatory, super cheap unit. And yeah, let's see what else we have to talk about the exclusive equipment. So let's have a quick look at that. And for this one, I already quickly went over it, I think, while going through the skills. We have the increased duration of the two active skill with level 1 and 2. Debuff duration increase on the special move. And then we have level 4 that is going to increase the passive and make all the buffs last for 5 seconds longer. So it's just 5 seconds longer on everything that she has, from 10 seconds to 15. Easy, simple, nothing much to say. Then we have the gear. For this one, just slot 4 if you're going for 100% resistances, and slot 1 and at best slot 3 if you don't have enough accuracy to hit the enemies. Then you go for that. That's it. You don't really need anything else. You should never upgrade a slot 2. It's just a waste of coins. So don't do that. And yeah, then we have the ignition weapon. For the ignition weapon, I would say go for Bari. It's just as a measure to save, like, give her a second life for when she doesn't have the special move up, or in the super early stages of the game when she might be targeted by multiple attacks. Because only one is fine, she's going to block it with a passive. If there are two enemies targeting her, she could be in trouble, so you kind of want Bari. And then if you cannot keep up the special move invincibility with Revolution 5 all the time, then when there is a downtime to it, you can get like the Barry effect to support you. So overall, I think Barry is the best option. You could go, I don't know, like Rafflesia, Runda, Doris, whatever you want. It's still fine, but I think Barry is just that additional guarantee that you're going to survive at least a little bit. So I definitely like that. And yeah, for the actual stats, if you can still run resistances, and you will hear me say that quite a few times, I mean, these conditional, if you can run resistances, etc., because once your deficit goes above 300, 350, enemies will start to kind of one-shot you. Even if you have resistances, they don't give a shit. They will just one-tap you. So going for resistance at that point is meaningless, and you should switch to something else. So you should survive relying only on evasion if you can still do that, but it's also unlikely. Or you just have to rely on the team composition so that you have enough survivability in your team to allow you to just, again, stay alive. And yeah, in that scenario, I would say for slot 4, you can go either for effect resistance or effect hit. You already have effect resistance in the in the subnodes for evolution, so I'd rather go effect hit. Here I upgraded an effect resistance piece. I don't know. I think it's still better in my case because I also aimed for a lot of effect hit in the subnodes, and enemies in adventure won't really have too much effect resistance. So as long as I have more than their effect resistance, I'm good. And I have that, so I'm fine. And that's why I went for effect resistance. But maybe for PvP oriented stuff, could be better to go with affected. I don't know. We kind of have to see that. But I would say either effect resistance or affected. Up to you. Both of them are going to be good. The important thing is that you have high enough effect hit to be above the enemy effect resistance. That's all. The rest is just, I like to go for resistances, so I always have them. But I don't even have 99% in a physical resistance, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I have 98.5. You might say, okay, well, it's basically 99. No, it's not. It's actually a lot lower than that. But it's okay. It's still fine. It's still fine. And I want to increase my swiftness. It is still pretty low. But yeah, I'm waiting for news on the new system that's going to come out in June. Sorry, and then I will finish re-rolling my 3 essence facility. Once we have confirmation of what we're going to get, then I will do the re-rolling. For now, I just stopped. So I still have a lot of resistance, even though it doesn't matter anymore, because I'm close to like 400 deficit at the moment. Then we have affected. As I mentioned, I have more than the enemy effect resistance. It is currently like 101, 110, something like that. So it's higher and good. And then effect resistance, I have a whole 533. So she should dodge basically all the status effects and debuffs. Pretty decent, I would say. And yeah, not much else to mention. For this one, I went for physical resistance. There is really nothing good to run. This main stat is either like pierce or physical resistance, or that's it. So I don't know. I would say you could go pierce if resistance don't work anymore, but it really makes no sense. Or you can just leave it unleveled and be done with it, save your resources, kind of thing. And yeah, that's enough for the ignition weapon, I would say. For Rapport, well, here I would recommend level 6, just because you have to land your debuffs, you have to land your CCs, really important stuff. So I would like to have the extra accuracy. That's just as simple as that. Then we have the last section, which is team recommendation. So let's head over to Arena Simulation. And here she's a support, so we're not really going to go into too much detail about what her best team is, because I mean, she's not a DPS, so it's not like we're building a team around her. We're adding her to existing teams. Obviously, the best DPSs that she can support are going to be attack scalers, because they can benefit from 100% of Towa's kit. That being said, the swiftness buff alone and the invincibility she provides with Revolution 5 will make her great in any kind of team you want to play her. There is really, again, like you cannot go wrong with Towa. You can just add her wherever you want. She will perform well. So really insane unit. Now, if we want to talk about some sort of combinations, you definitely want to feed some energy into her. And the ways you could do it early on, when you don't have too many teams, you can just go for a really stupid Mama Nak plus Towa, and the invincibility will basically be up all the time. If it's not because your swiftness is still low on a new account, just add a bomb into the mix, and you're basically set, or you can also place him here. This way, she will have a lot of energy to just keep on chaining her special move. So really, really great. If you don't have access to Mamanak or using her in another team, is not too big of a problem. You can always go for like the David plus Bam combo that will both give energy to the close by ally. So she's going to get an initial 350 energy plus 350 every 5 seconds. And whenever this guy uses the special move, it's going to be a 100 to the whole team again. Then you could go for a unit like Garam. She's going to give, well, only if you have her with Revolution. After casting the special moves, she's going to give 200 energy to everyone. So with this kind of setup, there is enough battery to give her a lot of energy. You could even go for a unit like Hockney, but I mean, using all of these units in one team is a lot, because all the other teams are going to suffer, kind of, especially running also Hockney here. But if Towa is your highest attack, and then you use like Hockney, she's going to get a shit ton of energy. She's going to cast the skill immediately, and you will funnel a lot of energy into her. You could also, again, go with an array, etc. But all of these only works if she's your highest attack unit, obviously. Well, I mean, only the Nare Hockney part, but the Bam plus David, no, that will always work, so that's not a problem. You could also go for an Evan, but it's kind of wasted to have two units with this strong of a survivability buff. But you can do that. It's definitely viable. If we remove Towa, you could also do something like this. Okay, fine, but doesn't really matter. And then in the last slot, as a carry, you could have a typical kind of add-on that would be fine. You could also go with someone like Anniversary Iwa, would also be fine here. You have a lot of options, but you definitely have to go for a max HP damage dealing unit if you go for highest attack Towa. If you don't, like, and you only have David and Bam, you can literally run whoever you want. You can add a Yugo in the mix, even though she probably won't need all of this, but you can always do that, still fine. You could run. I wouldn't run maybe Eljo because there is literally no purple unless the last one there we make it. Okay, now Ray would give energy to Eljo, but that is not a bad thing, I would say. You could also go for Yura like this. So you still have 3 purple units. You could also just forego that unit and go for somebody else. Kind of up to you. You have a lot of options, and you're really like your main DPS could be whoever you want. Anyone will benefit from that. You can use Kaiser, you can use Dawon, you can use Bam, you can use, well, here not really anyone, I guess. I mean, they will all work, they will all get buffed, but I don't see why. Maybe not her, actually. She wants to get hit, and invincibility would kind of struggle there. Maybe with Calavan, kind of. Yeah. With red, you can go Viol. Well, obviously with a different team and just showcasing some DPS units. You can go Ejin. You can obviously always go also like Evankel, Gustang, Alice. All the DPSs in this game will benefit from Towa. White too, Mashini as well. Literally anyone. Is really insane. The amount of buffs she gives is really too high. So yeah, that's more or less all I wanted to talk about, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.